I'm going to try to do a video on healing. I say try because I don't know how much longer today I'll have electricity. Supposedly they're cutting it off today. That isn't a bad thing. I've got construction getting ready to happen. That's why if you ever see any photos on this house or any of these videos and you don't see any paintings on the wall, that's because they're getting ready to lift the house in the air by about 6 feet. So it's a good thing when they cut off the power. It starts their construction that they promised they were going to start in March. So anyway, background. Why am I looking at healing? Obviously, it's a word, so I like doing word studies, but it's much more than that. There are so many of us in faith that have medical issues, or that our children have medical issues. You know, my oldest son has autism. My youngest son has autism. And that's actually an amazing thing that he has it, because I think it's actually going to bring some glory that he can do things that I could not do because of it. So there's a benefit, as I see things right now, in the faith for him having that. And I'll get to that as we go through here. But that's the reason for this video. There are so many of us with children that have medical issues. The other thing with regards to this is some people worrying about, I can't vaccinate. And I'm not getting into the vaccination debate. All I am saying with regards to this video and healing is it doesn't really matter, because the Creator is going to heal us no matter what. So, and actually I should say the Messiah is going to heal us. So it doesn't matter. If there's poison in us, He's going to remove it. I don't think that we have long before we return to the kingdom. You know, what you can do is damage yourself in the next year and a half, assuming that's the time frame, which we will not know until the Anti-Messiah is revealed. But again, there are too many of us waking up. There are so many other signs. It's going to be happening soon. Are we now in the tribulation? We'll find out. But I believe it's coming very soon. But the point to that is, follow Torah, but it's so much more than just following Torah. It's don't worry about the extraneous matters, because, at this point in time, how many years have you lived under that type of problematic issue? If you're talking about they're trying to poison us in our food. They've been poisoning us in our food for a long time. You've got a lot of that poison already in you. So let's kind of go through some of the issues on healing. And I will not even do a full word study of the word healing, because just in Matthew, I don't even have to go to Mark, Luke, or John. Just Matthew chalks up so much, it'll get you there. So let's start in Torah. Exodus 15:26. He said, "If you listen carefully to the Lord your God and do what is right in His eyes, if you pay attention to His commands and keep all His decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you." My son has autism. Are you telling me autism wasn't in Egypt? All these other diseases that we have, cancer, whatever, you saying that they don't exist in Egypt? Because I know they did. And He's going to heal us. And you have to realize that healing goes so much farther than anything that we have an understanding of. That healing is to the nth degree. Remember, He made us. He knows what is best for us. He can heal us at any time. He made us. And enough said on that. Deuteronomy 32:29. See now that I myself am He. There is no God beside me. I put to death and I bring to life. I have wounded and I will heal. And no one can deliver out of my hand. Again, He can heal. There's no question. He can bring you back from life. Bring you to life. From the start and from the end. So we're going to see that with the Messiah, no question. 2 Kings 25. Go back and tell Ezekiel, the ruler of my people, this is what the Lord, the God of your father David says. I have heard your prayer and seen your tears. I will heal you. On the third day from now, you will go up to the temple of the Lord. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. Doesn't say them, just heals their land on that one. But I want to put it in there. because his healing goes so much further than just on our bodies. He can heal all kinds of things. 2 Chronicles 30:20, and the Lord heard Ezekiel and healed up the people. So again, it's not limited to land or people. Again, he can heal it all. He's made it all. There's no part that he hasn't made. Psalm 30:20, Lord my God, I called on you for help, and you healed me. Psalm 103:3, who forgives all your sins and heals all your diseases. Doesn't say some of your diseases, heals all of your diseases. Psalm 107:20, he sent out his word and healed them. He rescued them from the grave. Again, no place is is beyond his reach to heal. Psalm 143:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I think of this as emotional healing, so it's not just a physical healing. He can heal our emotional issues. Proverbs 3:8, this will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones, which is keeping the commandments. So keep the commandments, it will nourish your bones. It will bring healing to your body, health to your body. So when you wonder, he told us about the food laws. I wonder why. Well, it says right here, it brings health to our body. So obeying brings health. Proverbs 12:18, the words of the reckless are pierced like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Again, there's so much here of where he's using healing, but I'm about ready to get into the great stuff. Isaiah 6:10, make the heart of this people callous, make their ears dull and close their eyes, otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Which means, again, if you start following, you're going to get healed. And again, I'm building up to something here. And so some of us may, you may be saying at this point in time, well, my child hasn't been healed. I'm building up to something. It's coming. And Isaiah 30:26, I almost even have to come back to this because this is one of the most amazing things that I have read on here. And so, let me see if I have it where I can even do it here. Isaiah 30. Because this is such a testimony here for Isaiah 30. And I'm going to start not at 26, which is where that verse is, but I'm going to start in verse 19. And I'll go pretty much to the end of the chapter because of how great it is. People of Zion who live in Jerusalem, you will weep no more. All right, that's telling us millennial reign. How gracious he will be when you cry for help. As soon as he hears, he will answer you. Although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teachers will be hidden no more. With your own eyes you will see them. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Then you will desecrate your idols overlaid with silver and your images covered with gold. You will throw them away like a menstrual cloth and say to them, away with you. He will also send you rain for the seed you sow in the ground, and the food that comes out from the land will be rich and plentiful. In that day your cattle will graze in broad meadows. The oxen and donkeys that work the soil will eat fodder and mash, spread out with a fork and shovel. Fodder, mash is expensive stuff. We're going to have expensive stuff to give the animals. In the day of great slaughter, we know where that is. That's going to be day of great slaughter. That's got to be Armageddon. When the towers fall, streams of water will flow on every high mountain and every lofty hill. He says at the end, he brings the rain. So this is verifying that. It's just another verification. It's part of that jigsaw coming in. But here's the amazing verse. The moon will shine like the sun. So at night it will be like broad daylight. And the sunlight will be 7 times brighter, like the light of 7 full days, when the Lord binds up the bruises of his people and heals the wounds he inflicted. And I'll get to that. That's such an amazing, it's also in here. But there's something about that brightness. that just is so amazing. I need to kind of go through this rest of this chapter. See, the name of the Lord comes from afar with burning anger and dense clouds of smoke. His lips are full of wrath, and his tongue is a consuming fire. His breath is like a rushing torrent rising up to the neck. He shakes the nations in a sieve of destruction. He places in the jaws of the people a bit that leads them astray, and you will sing, as on a night you celebrate a holy festival. Again, another interesting thing. What night do we celebrate a holy festival? Your hearts will rejoice as when people playing pipes go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the rock of Israel. The Lord will cause people to hear his majestic voice. I think about that now. That we get from Habakkuk. When we go back to the land, the creator of the earth sings to us. The majestic voice, who's that going to be? That's going to be the creator of the universe. And will make them see his arm coming down with raging anger and consuming fire, with cloudburst, thunderstorm, and hail. That seems to me just like it's Armageddon, the seventh seventh bowl. The voice of the Lord will shatter Assyria. With his rod he will strike them down. Every stroke the Lord lays on them with his punishing club will be like music of timbrels and harps as he fights them in battle with the blows of his arm. Tophet has long been prepared. It has been made ready for the king. Its fire pit has been made deep and wide with an abundance of fire and wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of burning sulfur, sets it ablaze. And again, just such an amazing thing to look through with regards to the healing. But let's finish up the healing aspects. Isaiah 53:5. Now again, this is not to a current, this is from past, we'll see it quickly. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. Isaiah 57:18. I have seen their ways, but I will heal them. I will guide them and restore comfort to Israel's mourners. That's at the end. We come back, and again, he's going to heal us. And again, we can pretty much even lock in the day he's going to do it. Now, Jeremiah 30:12. This is us during the Exodus. We will be injured. We will be punished. And he tells us what his punishment is. And this is the punishment. This is what the Lord says. Your wound is incurable. Your injury beyond healing. Keep reading right there in Jeremiah 30, and it tells you he will heal us. Jeremiah 33. And again, I think of this as the great healing for all of us. If he's giving this this disease that's incurable, and he's going to heal us. Again, there are no curses for those who follow Torah. Those curses bring you back. So in fact, the curse, what we think is a curse, is in reality a blessing. So if he's giving this, don't think of it as a curse. It is a blessing. As I just said, those who are the anti-vaxxers, this, I would just about bet you, this is when we're healed. Those poisons we put in our body, the fluoride they put in our water forever, all this is going to get taken care of, and I bet you this is probably where it's going to be. Jeremiah 33:6. Nevertheless, I will bring health and healing to it. I will heal my people and will let them enjoy abundant peace and security. Now, Ezekiel 47, this is an interesting one. Ezekiel 47:12. Fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fruit because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. Their fruit will serve for food and their leaves for healing. Ezekiel 47 is all talking about millennial reign. But is this millennial reign? We know that the water coming from the sanctuary would do that. So it could be, when heaven comes to earth, because that water will still flow. Just something to think about, that it may not all be there for millennial reign for this particular verse. Could be, though. Hosea 14:4, I will heal their waywardness and love them freely, for my anger has turned away from them. Now here's where the fun part comes in. There's so much here in Matthew that I didn't even go to the other chapters. It's just so much. Matthew 4:23. Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness among the people. Every disease and sickness. Every. There is no sickness that he cannot heal. Even death he can heal from. Matthew 4:24. News about him spread all over Syria, and people brought to him all who were ill with various diseases. Various. So those suffering severe pain, the demon-possessed, those having seizures, and the paralyzed, and he healed them. What does our Messiah do? He is a healer. The Creator created the universe, but we know from John 1 that the Messiah was with him. And in fact, it says the Messiah was the Word. Now, we think of the Word being Torah. Maybe the Word was the Word of creation. Maybe it was actually uttered, and maybe the Creator showed him how to do it, and he actually uttered that Word. I don't know that. I don't want to add too much. But the issue is, he was there when we were created. He knows how to build us. He knows how to fix us. You know, if you can form a person out of dirt, with all of our inner workings, he knows how to fix us and heal us in every possible way. Matthew 8:16. When evening came, many who were demon-possessed were brought to him, and he drove out the spirits with a word, and healed all the sick. Matthew 9:22. Jesus turned and saw her. Take heart, daughter. He said, your faith has healed you. And the woman was healed at that very moment. That's the woman who touched him, touched his clothing. Matthew 9:18. When he was saying this, a synagogue leader came and knelt before him and said, my daughter has just died, but you can come and put your hand on her and she will live. So again, it doesn't matter that somebody's even died. There's nothing beyond his ability to heal. Nothing. Matthew 9:35. Jesus went throughout all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness. Are we starting to get this thing? How many times has he said, everyone? He's healing them constantly. Matthew 10:1. Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. So it's not just him. He's going to be able to give it to others to say, do it. Get it taken care of. You know, there's so many for him, he might just give and grant that authority to others. Matthew 12:15. Aware of this, Jesus withdrew from that place. A large crowd followed him, and he healed all who were ill. You know, I hope we're getting this thing knocked into our head at some point. You know, he heals. This is what he does. Matthew 12:22. And then they brought him a demon-possessed man who was blind and mute. And Jesus healed him so that he could both talk and see. No part of the body that he cannot deal with. Matthew 14:14. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. Matthew 15:30. Great crowds came to him, bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and laid them at his feet, and he healed them. Matthew 19:2. Large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. Matthew 21:14. The blind and the lame came to see him at the temple, and he healed them. We have more in Matthew than we almost even had in the Old Testament on he is going to heal us. Why does he do that? Because it announces who he is. It announces that he is the Messiah. What did we hear with regards to Lazarus? When Lazarus was dead, the Messiah waited, and I don't want to get into that part, but it was a messianic miracle. But the reality is, he was doing it for God, the glory of the Creator, that the Son might be revealed. Why are our children right now not healed? Why are we not healed? Because we are so close to going over to the other side. They are, this is going to be for the glory of the Creator so that the Son can be revealed. We have these illnesses. Our children have these illnesses for the glory of the Creator. We are toys almost for that. We exist to show everyone in the kingdom this is the Messiah. When the Messiah comes down, he's dealing with Armageddon, and we think, oh, this is what he's dealing with. I wish that was a construction truck, but it's not. But anyway, so when he comes, he's going to do it in front of all the tribes. So if you think, or certainly among the tribes, he's going to heal us. And so if you're thinking, it says in Torah that when I start following, he's going to heal me. Yes, and that's a contract. He will. The only issue for the delay right now is because it's going to be for the glory of the Creator. And so he's just waiting on that glory. And we are going to give him that. So, and again, an amazing, amazing thought.